Imagine a disease so devastating it can bring entire cattle industries to their knees, spreading silently through the bite of tiny insects. That's exactly what's happening with lumpy skin disease, which has traveled from a single outbreak in Zambia to become a global agricultural crisis.
You know what's fascinating about this disease? It's actually been on this slow-moving rampage across continents for nearly a century, and now it's threatening cattle populations from Africa to Eastern Europe.
Well, here's what makes it particularly tricky to control. It's spread by these blood-sucking insects, mainly stable flies and mosquitoes, but the real MVPs of transmission are actually ticks.
Tell me more about these ticks. What makes them so special in this scenario?
So get this. These rhipicephalus ticks are like the perfect viral storage system. They not only spread the disease, but also act as reservoir hosts, keeping the virus alive during cold seasons when other insects die off. It's like they're providing a winter survival bunker for the virus.
That's exactly why this disease is so hard to eliminate, isn't it? The virus always has somewhere to hide.
Right. And when conditions are perfect, usually during high rainfall periods, when insect populations explode, we see these massive outbreaks. The economic impact is devastating. We're talking about decreased milk production, reduced meat quality, damaged hides, and even abortions in pregnant cattle.
You know what really strikes me as particularly cruel? The fact that the high-producing dairy breeds, the ones farmers rely on most for income, are actually the most vulnerable to this disease.
Exactly, and here's something that might surprise you, Dake. While the skin lesions are the most visible symptom, this virus has been found in multiple internal organs and blood. This means cattle can be spreading the disease before anyone even notices they're sick.
Well, that certainly complicates control efforts. How do farmers protect their herds from something they can't even see?
That's where vaccination comes in as the primary defense strategy. But here's the catch. You need to vaccinate 80 to 100% of your herd to effectively control the disease. And it's not just a one-time thing. You need annual revaccination of adult stock.
That must be an enormous challenge, especially in regions with limited veterinary resources.
You're absolutely right, and timing is crucial. The vaccine takes about 2 to 3 weeks to develop protective immunity, so if you vaccinate too late during an outbreak, you might still lose animals. It's like trying to put on a seatbelt during the crash.
So what's the solution? How are countries managing this growing threat?
Well, it requires this complex dance of vaccination programs, movement restrictions, and international cooperation. But here's what's particularly concerning. Climate change is potentially expanding the geographic range where these vector insects can survive and thrive.
That really brings home how this isn't just an agricultural issue. It's tied into these larger global challenges we're facing.
Exactly. And you know what's interesting? While we've had effective vaccines since the 1960s, particularly in southern Africa, the disease remains endemic in many regions. The reasons range from lack of disease awareness to insufficient epidemiological risk assessments.
Sounds like we're dealing with both a scientific and a human behavior challenge here.
That's precisely it. The science is actually pretty clear. Vaccination works. But getting everyone to consistently implement these programs, even when there's no immediate threat, that's the real challenge.
Looking ahead, what do you think the future holds for controlling this disease?
Well, with climate change potentially expanding suitable habitats for vector insects and the increasing movement of cattle globally, we're facing some serious challenges. But we do have effective tools and growing international cooperation in disease surveillance and control.
That gives me hope that we might eventually get better control over this disease, even if complete elimination isn't possible.
Exactly right. While we may not be able to completely eradicate lumpy skin disease with proper vaccination programs and international cooperation, we can certainly minimize its impact on global food security and farmer livelihoods.
And definitely not the kind of lumps anyone wants to see in their livestock.